Okay, I honor those of you who come on live here on TikTok, or if you happen to watch it later somewhere on another platform of mine. If you're coming in a benevolent energy, good decency, okay, I honor you. 2579 activate command. I honor you, okay, if that's you. Okay, my apologies in advance if I seem to like be talking a little bit lower, or like I'm trying to really control my modulation and all that. It's because the environment is kind of more hushed, and I don't want to be unnecessarily disruptive to those who might actually be studying and doing some stuff that requires concentration. Okay, so the reading, the message is why they did or why they do it. This is a karmic reading pertaining to the stuff that's coming out about why a karmic family did the things in which they did. Okay, this is the situation where they are trying to evade their karma or whatever it is they've done to the target, the collective. They stole inheritance, they stole house, they something like that. Okay, and so there's this energy of questions like, why did they go to this extent? Why did they like basically stalk or pay people to stalk or follow around the collective and pay people to basically sabotage them, stagnate them, distract them? In some cases, trigger warning to do stuff to physically alter their health and their well-being. Okay, and they did that because as long as they can keep the target in poverty, as long as they can keep them in a negative headspace and affect their frequency and their vibration, then that would be the distraction. They would not have to worry about ever needing to deal with some cases. This is illegal activity they did against the collective. They wouldn't have to worry about paying that back. They wouldn't have to worry about getting caught. They if they can keep that, they can take the target's destiny. And the reason why people agree is because, well, they offer them parts of what belongs to the collective, the stuff that they stole. So whether that be the inheritance, money, insurance, gifts, in some cases, they do favors for them. It just depends on what group that they're a part of. But this is how and why they do that. Why they elicited these leaders, why they went that far, because there's energies out here right now that's like the collective. You've got recent proof. You've got unfortunate recent, information proving that. And so there are people that saying, well, they're shocked. People are sitting in a state of shock. Why would somebody do such a thing? And so I'm answering the question. It's the most simplest answer that nobody wants to believe. And as I look up, I look across through the blinds of where I'm located, and there's a truck outside, and it says Miles Electric. Miles Electric. Now, I'm not saying that company is associated. Let me make sure I'm clear on that. I don't know who those people are. But that name, I do know that name though. Okay? Miles, Miles. Okay? So for some of you, there's, energies of miles that's behind it. Okay? These people were able to get businesses started off of something that belongs to the collective and their children. Okay, whether that be clothing companies, if they call themselves a fashion witch, whether that be a truck driving company, whatever the case may be. And so they went this far because the collective moved far enough away in like some boondocks where there's a lot of, children of the corn type vibes, and a lot of people who easily hate the collective for being such an eccentric, for being, in some cases, in their esteemed competition, or whatever they manage to really play on in the lives of people to get them involved. Okay, so as I was getting ready for it, good old-fashioned envy. I know we be looking for something real sophisticated. We be looking for something at the bottom of it, it's this. Envy doesn't always look like what we think it looks like. Okay, this is something I've continued to learn over the years of my life, from a young woman to the ripe old age of, I'll be 50 in about 2 months, a little bit under 2 months. Okay, so people are often envious. I've seen some of the most beautiful looking people walking, some of the most accomplished people with homes, properties, businesses, and you name it, be full of envy and jealousy on somebody that don't even have 2% of the material accomplishments as they do. And so when you think of that, it really brings you to the point calling into question. So maybe envy and jealousy is not always about this physicality then. Because if it were, all these people that are supposedly the most beautiful people to look at, all these people with supposedly all of the good old-fashioned American dream under their belt. That's 25799 Ain't nobody stupid. So as I was saying, yeah, envy. They envied the collective's, possibly the collective's creativity, possibly the collective's charisma, possibly the collective's light, their essence. Okay? So let me go ahead and finish, because I'm going to put this on YouTube. That's why they did it. So they went around the world. They followed the collective around, paid people in these various states and cities, Timbuktu, thinking that this would be one way to easily, just metaphorically speaking, just rid of this and sweep it under the rug. These are people who worked with the collective's exes. Like I said, they worked with anybody who personally has some kind of odd against the collective. Okay, they target these people. They can smell them a mile away. They can smell their like energy a mile away. Okay, and this is how they do it. This is how they're able to do it. Okay, now this thing, though, again, trigger warning, take this as it resonates. This is not for everybody. Viewer discretion is advised. And I'm saying these statements for the purposes of TikTok. Okay, I'm going to make that clear. For the purposes of TikTok. Okay? Each of us as adults need to be responsible for our own lives first and foremost. If you're watching, and you need to know your life, and you need to have some wisdom and be grounded and practical about everything that you're doing in life. Okay? This is not in place of anybody's professional, medical, or otherwise guidance, advice, or help. Okay? All things with grains of salt, all things with wisdom, practicality, and balance. It's your life. But whoever you are out there, you know, that's the bottom line, isn't it? You know what you need to know about what you need to know. And it's as simple as that. And apply it as such, yes? Okay. So these energies went far beyond this. What makes this kind of sinister, sad, and sick is this right here, this envy that morphed into criminal behavior, because that's what these people did. They committed fraud, baby. Okay, I'm it's an Nobody don't want to hear it. I'm like, but. Okay. Huh? Yeah, multiple acts, okay? This is not even just one act, multiple acts of federal offenses against the collective. Multiple. Up to this very now moment. Because illegal surveillance is a federal offense. Okay? So, this morphed into, because the collective was healing and evolving and overcoming all the obstacles and tornadoes, you know what I'm saying, that they were just, you know what I'm saying? They were just paying people to do. So that was not gonna work for them. The collective kept healing from all of the shit ton of spell work. That wasn't work. That wasn't gonna work for them. Okay, so this morphed into getting the collective illegally put on a watch list via the exploitation of a connection of authority who can do it. Okay, to poisoning. Okay, because these people have multiple times poisoned the collective in this reading via infiltrating their living spaces illegally, via various businesses that they were partnering with to do things, because they gave their information and pictures and all that stuff to all of these various places, especially if the target wasn't able to be mobilized much, so it wasn't hard to do if they were basically centralized to a certain area. Not that hard, people. Okay? Ain't gotta be a rocket scientist to understand it. Anyway, so they poisoned, they vandalized, and they did this by proxy. And this was to basically hide their hand. Now, and towards the end of them getting super desperate, because these are the people who have started to get retribution. And so, on top of, I just needed to say this too, some of it wasn't even retribution. I need to say that. I need to say that. Some of it that these people started to get had nothing to do with retribution. And it had nothing to do with just life. It had to do with these people actually make poor decisions. I mean, kind of given the fact that they don't that kind of path, you would think. I digress. They make poor decisions in that they just have these addictions. They like shopping, they like buying, they're addicted. Okay, and to consumption. Okay, they're addicted. They want that high life. Okay, they want that ease, that easy life at all costs. They want that highfalutin, ready-made, get quick. They like that living. And they got addicted to that living, and because of that living, they don't really make the wisest decisions with their very accomplishments. And so what happens is, even when it has nothing to do with, karmic retribution or life cycles, it's to do with, you're making shitty crap ass decisions. Okay? And then you get mad and you want to go find someone else to abuse. And that's what happens in this collective reading. These are people who, they live high on a hog at your expense and others. You move on and you heal and recover and make the best of whatever. They go through various different seasons, and because of their lack of true development, their development is only in the fuckery that they've managed to master. But because of the other things that they're lacking, it's inevitable that they start losing things and one thing and another. And so that's when they get to looking for the collective. Where are they at? Because they know the collective is abundant. They know who they are. They targeted them for a reason. They did what they did for a reason. Okay? No matter what they're sending, they're telling other folks. It's a part of why they stalk them to begin with. It's a part of why they hoover them like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Okay? So when this happens to them, that's when they're like, well, where's the collective at? So we can go take their shit. So we can go try to hide and cloak up under their essence, so that we can get proximity to them. So what do they know? Let's go into their technology. What are they looking at? Where are they going? What are they buying? What are they doing? What can we go and steal and hijack again, because we're not making proper decisions? Some of them are starting to get retribution, yes. So it becomes like this ripple effect of judgment is being called on them, on top of the fact, general life cycles that every last one of us have, on top of the fact that they're also making terrible decisions. Okay? They just want to shop. They want to shop. That's they're addicted. They just want to sit up and buy shit so that they can flex and stunt in front. Okay? At all cost. Don't have an identity of their own. So what they do is steal other people's. They follow the collective so that they can get their creativity, their ideas, okay? So they can infiltrate their lives behind the scene. This morphed into some really scary single white, single black, single man, single female shit. That's what this became. It went from obsessive thoughts to criminal behavior. Schmoozing with people in order to infiltrate the space. That's how badly they want the collective's energy. Yep, I said it. Yeah, that's how badly. Okay? Because again, who they made the deals with, the collective's people, who they originally made the deals with, this is what this is. If they can keep the collective in a negative mind space, poverty, lack, then blase. So this is why they started outsourcing, because they lost personal contact. These are people who the time actually ran up for them. This is also why they started losing. Okay? So instead of going, okay, this one's a shit, this one's a flop, move on, develop, get a clue, yada yada. They just outsourced. They just traveled around the world wherever the collective is. They were as sick as to be willing to steal. You guys heard the recent news. This is how far, yeah, it has to be said. It has to be. It has to be. So sick as to be willing to steal an EBT card from a disabled young man. Yeah. And isn't they lovely? Isn't they wonderful? Yes. That's how badly they needed to see the collective struggle. See, here's the thing. They paid people to do that so that they can see the collective scrummage around to get help, while they already know that they had already told everybody not to help them. These are the kind of people that y'all are dealing with. Listen. That's the collective's relatives, on top of everybody that they have outsourced and brought in to the bullshit. Because they're getting money off of that, and then they get to bypass, or at least they think they get to not have to worry about, they don't want to give to the collective what's the collective's. That's what this is. They don't want to own up to it. They don't want to give it. So they're willing to, yes, take from the disabled, consider them dispensable. So the collective and their team has said, very well, and you all are dispensable then, since that's your attitude. Bloom. It says bloom where God has planted you, or something like that. You all collective learned how to bloom wherever their guidance was, and these people keep swarming around them to steal from their lemonade stands, because they keep making shit shows of their own lives, because they do not want to transform. They do not want to go within. They do not want to be accountable. They only want the mainstream version of what any kind of godliness or spirituality is. They do not. Because real versions of that, and I have to say it, no matter what end of the spectrum we land on, anything from one end to the next, in the middle, any real evolutionary, transformative journey of any kind that's beyond mainstream aesthetics require actual application. So it means that it's not going to be just because you got all the right props in social media and propaganda and paparazzi and praise and worshipers. And it means that when the camera's off, when there's nobody to impress, when there's nothing to gain, when there's no clout, no yeehaws, no hype, no like, follow, share, subscribe, when there's none of that, when life demands you to make daily choices in every now moment for yourself and for everybody else, it means that is where it's being applied. It's not just about going to a yoga retreat. It's not just about going to a conference. It's not just about any of those things. It's about, and if you are on an evolutionary journey, as you say, then that means you're going to address yourself first and foremost. You're going to look at those things and you're going to give every attempt to, as far as it depends on you, as far as you can, based on where you're at, make proper, honorable adjustments accordingly. And that's not who these people are. In fact, they want the total opposite of that, because when you're leaning into sociopathy, it's reputation above truth. They hid something in a family member's garage or attic, but fast forward, this could also be that someone is going to end up hiding in a somebody's family member's garage or attic, ironically enough. They could have hid the proof of something, whether that's the deed to something, the monies to something, proof of something, okay? But the irony, okay, is this is where they're going to end up. They could have also wanted you all collective to end up being hidden, with this garage and attic, like Flowers of the Attic vibe and shit. Because some of y'all, nigga, some of y'all got some, trigger warnings. Okay, some quacky, Okay, whoa. Let me hurry up though, because I can't even see the screen, so I don't know who's here, who's not here properly. I can barely see it. So I'm just trying to get through this so that I can get it up. Okay, there's a masculine that's sorry but afraid. Okay, I don't know if they're hiding. All of this was envious here, and with 20, that's judgment. So this judgmentalness and criticisms and all this stuff that's been hurled at the collective, this is the root of it. The gossipers, yeah, gossiping about the collective. Okay. Oh, these people also could have got mad because, see, they've been clowning the collective for a long time. Collective don't care though. See, you gotta care. Number one. Number two, you have to be even paying attention to care. So these people have been gossiping about the collective forever, ever. But what started happening is people are gossiping about them. So guess what? It's that old adage, can dish it out, can't take it. Okay? They feel entitled to be able to run their mouth, ruin people's lives, reputations, and influence, and make things challenging for people to have a sustaining life based on running a trashy mouth. Okay, but have a problem when they're on the, when they're finding that people are saying stuff about them. So these are people that wanted to amp up their vengeance, to take it up a few notches of more criminality. These are people who talk very religious and spiritual. Okay, but they're toxic AF. Because again, it's what I just said. You can quote all you want to quote, and you can buy all the paraphernalia you want to buy, and you can have all of the Bibles and crystals and save bundles and sayings and amulets and artifacts, and you can have all in what you want to have. But if you're crazy and you're toxic and you're doing fucked up shit, you just got information. Okay? Got the product but don't believe in one's own product and artifacts. Okay? That's bottom line with that. 1617. Amplify. 1617. Amplify. Abracadabra. Manifest. 1617. 257. Manifest. Yeah. Protection. Oh. Somebody going to jail. There could be somebody right now trying to figure out how they're gonna, what kind of defense, how they're gonna protect themselves. But this is also the energy of what somebody did in prison to protect themselves, what they were willing to do to the collective here. But collective, you're prevented from harm. There's intervention that keeps stepping in for you. But this is also some of the reasons why these people keep amplifying and coming different angles and going to different practitioners and trying to find different subgroups of folks who'd be willing to, they're gonna lie and spin some stories to them in order to get them in and on the hook. But this is why they keep doing that, because you all do have that, because these people are something not, it ain't something wrong. Woo, something wrong. For the love of money. They got super hot about that yesterday. The OJs, I invite y'all to look at that, because that's just put that on the read, and that's the whole shit. Envy and for the love of money. Period. Yeah, intervention. There's intervention here. These people didn't want the collective to have any help, and so they kept trying to ambush them and corner them into situations and spaces in which they could control the narrative. Okay, and doing the country, Southeast Texas, was a very good way to do it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But guess what, collective? If you're honorable feminine, this is also why this is gonna always be here for you, no matter who they pay. No matter who they pay. No matter what low life come in on it. No matter what coven entity, you know what I'm saying? Gain, corruption, radical group. They needed to see you struggle. Yeah, they internet tuned in, connected, plugged, and in reverse. Yeah, these are people who was behind trying to possibly, if you're a content creator, they were trying to do everything they could to get your internet, because that was your internet taken out so you couldn't do shit. Your internet taken so you couldn't do shit because they couldn't get your social media. Woo, child. Yeah. So they had people to help them to basically sabotage your life. You know this full well collected by now. You ain't shocked by none of it. You see every last player, baby. You got all their tickets. You got all their tickets. Yeah. Because people liked y'all or whatever. People found y'all. You guys were unquenchable or something like that. They also didn't want you to find out about something. They didn't want you to be able to move, or they didn't want you to be able to move. They didn't want y'all to be able to cleanse and be rid of all this shenanigans here. That's some of it too. They knew that if you were to get this property, if it's property or whatever, then, you see what I'm saying? You'd be able to cleanse and clear your energy and all that shit a lot better. You're doing it now anyway. That's the fascinating thing about it. They're getting schooled on that. But the whole point that I'm making is they knew that you all wanted to get out of, being maybe stuck in toxic and negative environments and subjected to people, places, and things, whatever, that you didn't want to be. And which was why some of you all left something, the ancestors or whomever. This is why these people are under judgment. They are under judgment, period. They're under judgment. Period. Yeah, it ain't fun no more. Look at update. It ain't fun no more. Adrenaline rush, this roller coaster and shit. Adrenaline high is high. Yeah. It ain't fun no more. This is why they were really trying to, amp this shit up. Because it ain't fun no more. At first it was a high to, do all this stuff maybe and watch. But see, now it's getting pressure. Oof, there it is. Maybe it was fun to watch you be upset and angry. Not no more. It ain't. No. I just saw a glitch there. Nope. It ain't fun no more. No. Because what this did is brought attention to the green-eyed envy on them. It's brought attention to how much these people have been focused on you and taking from you, stopping you, blocking you, hurting you. It's brought attention. It's brought unwelcomed focus to them that they don't want. Not the cool attention that they thrive and love and feed off of, but what they don't want. Okay? And it's also helped you to get laser sharp focused on getting that ass. On getting to the bottom of it to cleanse this trash. To get to the roots of this negativity here. Yeah, they're not able to deal with the negativity that this is bringing, okay? They're not going to be able to handle these people. Yep, of trying to keep you stuck. Obsession. Because of the addiction to your energy or whatever. Something about the past. Okay. So somebody's angry here because they're figuring this out, collective. Okay? That this is why these people did what they did to you. They're religious and spiritual, but toxic AF. Okay? Anyway, what's about to happen to these mofos that's still up to it? Their relatives, whoever on a collective scale, as well as the ops and people who are collaborating, hiding them, lying for them, covering them, funding them, aiding and abetting. Doing stuff to the collective. Sending the children of the corn to the collective. That's what they did. They sold the collective to what they did. Y'all gotta watch. That's an old school movie. Some of y'all too young for that, but my generation. I was like, they were weird, man. Malachi, they were weird. They being the children of the corn, sacrificing and shit. Anyway, what's this great fortune? What's about to happen? What's the consequence of this great fortune? What's the consequence of that great fortune? Okay, somebody's about to do the honorable thing. Okay, so maybe they're not foreseeing that. High honor. Wealthy man is in the reverse. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What's about to happen? Uh-oh. Okay, something's going to you. They're about to lose their sudden wealth. I just saw it in reverse. This is what they hijacked. The courthouse. What happened? What's about to happen? Ooh, they're not expecting it either. I have expectations coming in reverse. They're not expecting it. You not expecting it, maybe. Ooh-wee. Now that's interesting. That's interesting. I told, there's a message. I told you somebody is, So I got great fortune, high honor, and a message, an envelope. I have 2 sevens here. I have 877. 26, 25, 7. Somebody is feeling some kind of way and want to do the honorable thing, or because, yeah, somebody is like, Oh, okay. Give me message specifically. I want message. Give me message. Maybe they're getting a message they better do. Okay, journey. Expectation in reverse. 10. That's the wheel. That's the wheel. Cycles. Privileged lady in reverse. Somebody about to lose their privileges. They're getting the message. A community is going into the reverse. Oof. Uh-oh. A whole community? Oh, wait. Yeah. Death. Change. That they better change. Because something is exposed. 19 energy. 6. They better change. There's been some kind of change. Because there's 2. She's enlightened, possibly. This mature woman might be the collective. And if this is not you collective, this could be somebody that's about to go bye-bye. Okay? That's about to go bye-bye. They better change. They better basically stop trying to come for you in your life, because you're enlightened and they're going to be exposed. Thief. In the reverse. They got to give it back. They better do the honorable thing, or they better come clean. They better make it right. They better send them. They better stay on. Oh, maybe y'all sent a message as well about what people been doing to you on your journey for money. Y'all gonna start spreading messages just as sure as they multiply like weeds in a yard. Nigga. Like fucking just as sure as they seem to manifest and multiply, y'all may be manifesting and multiplying your means and methods. Very well then. I'm gonna be just like you in this respect. And I'm gonna send this shit around the world until the just right motherfucker with some sense that can't be bribed, bullied, blackmailed, spell cast upon. Until the just right motherfucker get curious and start digging into shit and asking questions. Very well. You think you're ambushing? Okay, good. Let's see how we wiggle out of it. They got to end it. They being told, they're getting a message that either the collective, there's people that's starting to spread the messages around about what they've been doing to y'all. And there's proof because somebody either gave an anonymous tip and or some people got the proof, which is how somebody got the anonymous tip, possibly. Because with 19, that's exposure, baby. That's illumination, but that's reveal. That's exposure. Mm. Child. Ah. Okay, let me hurry up. I forget that where I'm at. I was trying to keep it low because there's people that's, you can talk here. It's not like it's a library or nothing, but hold on, son. We'll get that plugged up for you in a second, okay? So let's see what's playing out with these energies that are persistent, with I've ran out of words. And I'm a talker, but I have ran out of words. You can't do nothing but the definition of insanity, repeating the same shit over and over again, expecting, collective's ancestors on top of the collective, their own oversoul, over all of these years, and with each event, each occurrence of all this bullshit, has communicated clearly, one way or the other, to each: cease and desist, do this now. And because of their arrogance and their pride and their entitlement and their supremacy and grandiose and all of the things that they got going on, it doesn't allow them to hear that. That's why it's gotten this far. This is not this far because nobody was ever told nothing or warned. No, it got this far because everybody was. That's why. And they just thought the collective was easy target. Let me pause and say this right here, officially on a collective and grand scale for the world and universe. Any group of people who will rationalize 6%? Within themselves and say, oh, just for an example, let's say they think that somebody is, hold on, son, I'm gonna help you out with that in a minute. I know, I'm gonna help you with that in a second. I'm about done here. Let's say, they make their assessment and they're told that a person is slow, okay, disabled, challenged, whatever. I'm playing with this because I'm going to get to the point here. What kind of a people, even if they were to actually believe that were to be true, would conduct in such a manner as these people have? So let me give an example. Let's say I assess something about a person that I believe, I assess something or somebody tells me something and I think like, oh, they're disabled or they're a little slow or they're not, and they're acting out in some kind of way that maybe I don't jive with or whatever. As I'm looking at that person, and in my thinking, it's like, okay, okay. I'm not going to trip too hard about it, first and foremost, because I believe they're disabled. I believe they're slow. So I'm not even going to really entertain much of it, if that is even what I truly believe. Okay? Or people who target individuals that they get the memo or the information, oh, they don't have anybody, they don't have any friends or associates, or they're not, they're alone and, blase, blase. Okay, I'm gonna say this again. So then what kind of people? We got to start asking questions that we don't want to hear the answers to. What kind of people would target those such populations and attempt to take what little they have and attempt to harm them? What kind of people are they? That would attempt to take away any sense of stability or security that either the child has or whatever the case may be. We might as well call it, and we might as well stop playing, and we might as well stop hiding. What kind of people? What kind of a community? What kind of a government? What kind of a group? What kind of a business? What kind of an organization participate and conduct as such? To go as far as to steal a disabled person's EBT card. Violate a disabled person's apartment. What kind of people? What kind of person? What kind of a community? What kind of business? What kind of politician? What kind of business person? What kind of group must they be? Nobody don't want to talk about that. Nobody don't want to look at that because that's the bottom line. That's the real deal, Holyfield. We could sit up there and claim also, I think they're slow in spells. Oh, they just extra. Okay, exactly. So this is why you will hire people to hurt them? If that's true. If that's true. That's why you're trying to take the disabled person's stability away from them because what again? What's your real reason again? What's your real issue again? Truth. That's why you poisoned them and they broke out with bumps all over their body that their mother got proof of, just like they got some more proof in the freezer and some other places that they are going to use against them. Mm-hmm. They lied. Ace of Swords is in the reverse. They lied about their business. They lied about how they got their business, how they got their wish fulfillment. They also lied about, you collective, your business and what you do, or why you're single, why you're isolated, why you did things alone. They lied because they're at the root of it. This is also people who lied about being single. You know what I'm saying? And entangling you in the messes of their lives as well. You know what I'm saying? Because some of us, we're victims of shit that we don't even understand. You know what I'm saying? Some of us is like, what the fuck? Got people's crazy wives and crazy husbands and crazy mistresses and crazy misters and mistresses and exes looking at us to the left and shit. Six of Cups in the reverse. Yeah, this is the past. This is people who lied about what they did to you in childhood. They lied about what they did to you, your children. They lied about messing with folks in your past. They lied about the past. lied about doing stuff to children, and also lied, you know, and to get money, because that's how some of these people get money. Three of Cups. Abundance. Off of causing you hardship, off of, you know, pandering to the youth and shit like that. This thing is crazy. That lied to you your whole life, for some of you, your childhood. Stuff they kept from you, that they did a curse on you possibly to make, you know, you single, or and they've been paying people. So it went past doing a ritual to actual physical interference. Because you put money on the table, see, corruption knows corruption, baby. That's one thing I'll say for sure. You put money on the table, baby, you can get damn near anybody to do damn near anything, nigga. Damn near anything. Knight of Swords here, yeah, they're angry now. And there's a lot of people angry on your behalf. Your ancestors could be angry on your behalf here, because it's like, enough. You got these people, the Walking Dead, swarming, old girl and her son and shit. These motherfuckers, you know, you see the tombstones right here, but these people in the background are supposed to be alive, right? But they don't look like they're alive. You see how she look all more bright and colorful than them, and they look all muted and shit? Yeah. Got all these people swarming them, judging them and shit, trying to unalive them, doing great, putting graveyard, putting them, nigga. That's why this shit gonna get real, nigga. That's why this shit gonna get real. You know? Basically, you know, they call it instigating a bunch of people with angry problems. That's what they did. That's why they under judgment. They instigated a bunch of folks they knew they had anger problems. And people that they knew had some kind of issue with you, to instigate the rest of the community. To slow you down. To slow down your progress by creating constant betrayal. Third-party interference to break your heart, your plans, your hard work, your investments, causing bad news, all the things that you worked hard on. Yep. So now they're worried about this coming in. They could be experiencing heartache. Ace of Wands in reverse. Yeah, because this is poor investments. Because this shit is popping back. Seven of Wands in reverse. This shit is popping back. They ain't got a pot to piss in now. They ain't got a pot to piss in, and the leg to stand on. Protection is being removed from these people. And that is for doing stuff to y'all when you all were vulnerable, collective. When you all were vulnerable, didn't know what was going on. Because you can't protect yourself when you don't know what's going on. You see what I'm saying? When you're... And that's what these people did. That's why I ain't got not a lick of respect, nor am I impressed. Because, nigga, that's like if I was in the 12th grade, and let's say I was in the 12th grade, and I did a sport, and I was really good at it, and I was walking around like a peacock. And then, but let's say I can only do that if I play up against a third grader, and I'm walking around with a ribbon and shit, and proud and squawking and shit like an ostrich. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but nigga, you went up against a third grader, and not to be disrespectful, but it's like the third grader has not had the space and time to create the same level of mastery or development or access to properly compete against that 12th grader. So it's like, okay, you should go put your ribbon up. Actually, you should kind of be embarrassed. Nigga, you should kind of be embarrassed, especially if they struggle to win. If they won, but they struggled to win.
Wanna go over there?
Anywho, because that's essentially what they did to the collective and the collective's children. You all didn't know what the hell was going on. Okay? All right, so let me wrap this up. Final messages of encouragement because my son is looking at me to help his MacBook, and I'm gonna get the motherfuckers. You tapping into my shitty shit here. You're gonna kind of want to get yourself out of it quickly. Okay, Darrell, let me get this.
Attention on the bird
See,
eye.
I know, son.
If I want to get on something to turn it up.
Yes. The willpower. These people are losing the willpower. They were trying to break your will, and you know it. Okay? They were trying to break your will. Ain't happening. Oh, it ain't happening, baby. You figured it out. That's all this stuff was designed to break your will and to force you into some kind of toxic compliance. Okay? Some toxic compliance and shit. Hiding shit from you and all of that, bullying you. You're gonna have your success here. You're gonna get your star, your healing here. And some of you are gonna travel, okay? Possibly traveling soon. And you're gonna get this happiness here. You guys may be moving. You may be going on a vacation. Somebody else may be moving, going on a vacation, something that you don't know about. That's gonna be coming out here, what was hidden. Here's your magical power. Some of you are tapping into your power, elixir of life. Creativity, interesting. People have been stealing that. You know that for a long time now. You know. But they acting like they so real, huh? You real, all right. You real, all right. Finding love. Be real. Are you? Are you though? Because it kind of looked like y'all hoovering and lurking about people's apartments and shit. Are you though? Are you? Anywho, let me go. My son's looking. I will upload this onto my YouTube. Ciao.